The male lead explains to Masa's aunt that the engagement gift is 1 million yen, with an additional 120,000 yen for the apartment down payment, totaling 8 million yen. The male lead reveals he's been saving for 11 years since meeting Masa in high school, but insists he truly can't come up with the extra 1.6 million yen. Masa's mother, Tamai, lashes out in disbelief, questioning if she's expected to sell her daughter, while Masa stands silently in the background. Masa's stepfather, Yoshio, suggests the male lead sell the apartment he inherited from his father, since it's in a good location and could be used for the payment. Yuto, the male lead, objects strongly, stating that the apartment is a legacy from his father's company and not something he can just sell off. Tamai challenges Yuto's refusal, claiming it's not that he can't sell it, but that he doesn't want to, while Masa begs her mother to stop. Masa confronts Yuto directly, the tension rising between them as they face the difficult situation. Masa walks away up the stairs in silence, the sound of her heels marking a heavy end to the emotional exchange. Masa urges Yuto to find a way to come up with the remaining 1.6 million yen, insisting that he must have a solution and reminding him of his responsibilities. Masa questions Yuto's commitment to marrying her, suggesting he borrow from consumer finance companies if necessary to get the extra money. Yuto, under pressure, agrees to figure out how to get the money, but pleads with Masa to give him a little more time. Masa assures Yuto that they will get married as soon as he secures the money, but sternly reminds him that it's his responsibility and she's counting on him. A coffee shop sign appears, indicating a transition to a new scene where Yuto is likely working or meeting someone. A co-worker notices Yuto's minimal lunch and comments on his frugality, prompting Yuto to admit that he's been in urgent need of money lately. Yuto overhears a conversation between Masa and a girl who asks if it's true that Masa is getting married, but Yuto immediately responds coldly, warning her not to ask him for money because it's useless. The woman vents to Masa, criticizing her obsession with money, and revealing that her own experience with a wealthy man ended in betrayal after he gave her a mere 100,000 yen to sever ties after sleeping with her. A girl is shocked and disturbed upon realizing who Masa is planning to marry, asking in disbelief if it's really that guy. Masa, calm yet calculating, reveals that she found out she's pregnant 2 days ago and must get married quickly to avoid trouble, planning to leave Yuto once the baby is born and aim for a property settlement. A boy, who is Yuto in his work uniform, reacts in disbelief and emotional pain as he overhears Masa's cold and manipulative intentions. Masa, unaware that Yuto is listening, casually calls out to the waiter for water, and then insults him by generalizing that people in low-end jobs are always careless. When the water is not brought promptly, Masa yells again, demanding a faster response, and mocking the waiter for not even being able to reply. Masa complains loudly about the restaurant's poor service, and declares she'll file a complaint to the manager, while the girl with her looks on with concern. A staff room sign marks Yuto's quiet retreat, as he escapes the humiliating moment and overwhelming emotions. Inside the staff room, Yuto squats down in emotional distress, clutching his head with one hand and his work cap in the other, overwhelmed by everything he just heard and experienced. Yuto receives a phone call asking him to pick up Saki-chan from the airport as she's moving to Tokyo for university, and he agrees since his part-time shift just ended. After ending the call, Yuto begins removing his work apron, signaling the end of a long and emotionally exhausting shift. Yuto takes a shower, physically exhausted and mentally overwhelmed by the recent events surrounding Masa and his financial struggles. While under the running water, Yuto bursts out in frustration, screaming about how obsessed everyone seems to be with money. Suddenly, a mysterious system voice echoes in his mind, stating that his anger has peaked and the global economy has been reset, with the value of money reduced and a new currency system introduced. The voice further explains that Yuto's assets are secure in the system and will now generate daily interest, leaving Yuto confused and wondering who's talking to him. Yuto, unsure if the voice was real or a product of stress, begins getting dressed again in disbelief and hesitation. Having composed himself, Yuto rushes outside and catches a bus while asking how much the fare to the airport is, showing that he's committed to helping Saki despite everything. The bus driver bursts into laughter, mocking Yuto's question about the fare as if it were a ridiculous joke. Two men seated nearby mockingly point out how absurd it is for someone to carry yen in public, comparing it to winning the lottery. Yuto is confused and suspicious, wondering why everyone is reacting so strangely to his mention of yen, which should be a normal amount for a bus ride. Still baffled, Yuto directly asks the driver how much the ride costs, noting the crowd behind him and his desire to board quickly. A man in a black suit stands up angrily, publicly shaming Yuto and accusing him of pretending to be rich, even saying he wouldn't earn a single yen even if he sold himself. Frustrated, Yuto defends himself, stating he merely asked about the fare and insists that he has at least 200 yen on him. The two men from earlier mock him again, saying that 200 yen is a fortune, and someone dressed like him couldn't possibly have such a sum. The man in the suit smugly steps in, acting superior, and offering to cover Yuto's fare, boasting about earning 2 sen monthly while claiming to only be on the bus because his car is under maintenance. Yuto looks around the bus in confusion, suspecting he might be on a hidden camera prank show, but finds no evidence of it. The driver, now clearly irritated, questions whether Yuto is seriously boarding or just causing trouble, and tells him to get off if he's just playing around. Yuto, still unaware of the economic shift, flips 2 100 yen coins confidently and states that the fare is 200 yen, right? A man and woman in the bus are shocked and amazed by the sight of actual 100 yen coins, praising their shine and texture as genuine. The man in the suit from earlier, now trembling with disbelief, refuses to believe the coins are real, and accuses Yuto of having only 10 yen coins. Yuto suddenly remembers the strange voice he heard earlier in the shower, and starts suspecting that the system might have truly changed the world. Trying to make sense of the situation, Yuto asks the driver if he can get change for 100 yen, only to hear that the fare is 10 mon, and the driver can't break such a high amount. Staring at the coin in his hand, Yuto realizes the reality has drastically shifted. 100 yen has now become incomprehensibly valuable. Seeing the crowd's bizarre excitement over money, the boy grows increasingly suspicious and decides it's best to act clueless and quietly get off the bus. The boy steps off the bus, thinking he'll distance himself from the strange atmosphere inside. Walking down the street while checking his phone, the boy is stunned to learn that common items now cost only a few sen, and even a luxury Rolex is worth just 1 yen. Still confused, the boy takes out a 10,000 yen bill he had saved from work, wondering if it's now worthless under this new economic shift. Determined to get answers, he heads straight to the nearest bank building, hoping someone there can clarify what's going on. Inside the bank, the boy hears the automated voice call customer 1069 and prepares to go to the counter. A woman at the desk greets him politely and asks how she can assist him, to which he responds that he'd like to make a deposit. The boy hands over his entire bundle of bills, declaring it's 100,000 yen and also requesting to activate online banking and mobile payment services. Shocked by the amount, the woman panics, admitting she can't handle such a large transaction, and urgently rushes to call the branch manager for assistance. The money counting machine verifies the bills and repeatedly confirms that authentication has passed without issue. A woman at the bank confirms that all of the bills are genuine and explains that yen, sen, and rin are the official currency units, with 1 yen equaling 100 sen or 1,000 rin. The scene shifts to a VIP room, indicating a private area likely used for high-priority clients. The woman addresses the seated boy as Mr. Matsushima and confirms the deposit of 100,000 yen is successful. The woman, holding a stack of bills, asks Mr. Matsushima if he would like to deposit the entire amount. Mr. Matsushima replies that he will keep about 3 yen for smaller expenses, causing the woman to nervously assume he must be the heir to a major corporation. The door swings open dramatically, signaling the sudden arrival of new individuals. A man in sunglasses and a woman in a dress enter, with the woman excitedly exclaiming to her, "Darling," that she followed his plan and that the rich boy promised to marry her. The woman, now beaming with pride, excitedly declares she's married and finds the moment exhilarating. The man beside her smugly gropes her as he sinisterly boasts that stealing another man's woman is thrilling. Yuto suddenly appears before them, his expression cold and bitter, as he accuses Miyabi of being someone he never truly knew. With a mocking smile, Miyabi taunts Yuto by assuming he came for a loan, and is stunned when Yuto angrily declares he has no intention of marrying her. Miyabi snaps back, arrogantly justifying her double life with both a husband and a boyfriend, demanding Yuto to bring more money instead of complaining. With a look of deep disappointment, Yuto calls Miyabi the lowest kind of woman, and politely excuses himself now that his bank transaction is finished. A bank employee nervously intercepts Yuto before he can leave, explaining that the branch manager would like to greet him personally. Just then, the man with Miyabi interrupts, insisting that Yuto should apologize first for insulting their Miyabi before receiving any greeting. Yuto glares sharply at the man, calling him disgusting for acting so shamelessly at his age, and warns that if he wants to fight, he better be ready to beg for mercy. The man, furious and flustered, yells back that he's the president of the Tenryu group and brags about how much tax he pays annually. As the tension rises, the man threatens to shut down the bank's transactions, just as several bank security personnel arrive, surprised by the commotion. The man seizes the moment to demand Yuto be thrown out, claiming someone like him isn't fit for the VIP room. One of the staff members shocks everyone by announcing that Yuto is not just a VIP, but a VIP among VIPs. Bank manager Bukatsu rushes in with a cheerful expression, apologizes to Yuto for the wait, and introduces himself with great respect. Bukatsu praises Yuto for depositing 100,000 yen and promises to issue a black diamond card along with 24-hour VIP services, to which Yuto responds politely. In disbelief, the man and Miyabi accuse Yuto of using counterfeit money, insisting there's no way he could have so much. Bukatsu firmly defends the bank's verification process and reputation, declaring that repeated insults toward their esteemed client cannot be overlooked, and warning that future loans will be reconsidered. The man drops his pride and pleads with Bukatsu, panicked that without further loans, his company will go bankrupt. Masa cried and begged Yuto, saying that she was wrong to have an affair with that old man, and affirmed that Yuto was number one in her heart. Yuto, staying composed, requests the manager to remove the disruptive pair from the premises. Bukatsu swiftly agrees, commanding their immediate removal, as the man desperately begs to keep the loans going to avoid ruin. After leaving the bank, Yuto walks through a bustling station, worrying that he's kept Saki waiting too long. A gentle tap on his chest interrupts his thoughts, as Saki playfully scolds her older brother for making his cute little sister wait. Turning around with a relieved smile, Yuto calls out to Saki, who cheerfully reminds him he owes her big time for the favor. Yuto, appearing apologetic, tells Saki that something held him up and promises to treat her to something in return. While they are walking together, and she seems to be considering his offer with a smile. Yuto smiles at Saki, calling her as adorable as ever, and suggests they grab something to drink to beat the heat, while Saki looks happy with a playful expression. Yuto and Saki walk together, Yuto pointing towards a star, mentioning that there isn't one near their home, and wondering aloud if they should check it out, while Saki gives him a confused look in response. Saki reassures Yuto that airport prices are high, and suggests they buy something outside instead, flashing a bright smile and making light of the situation. A sudden dramatic moment is highlighted as a man, who is standing near Yuto, has an intense and sharp expression, suggesting a change in mood or a shift in the conversation between the characters. Shuta Furukawa speaks to Yuto, offering to treat him to coffee at a nearby place named Stara, with Tamaki Nitu, the woman beside him, also joining the conversation. A man, speaking with a smug expression, comments on how the guy they are observing doesn't seem like he could afford coffee at Stara, mentioning the high cost of a cup and implying that his clothes appear shabby. Yuto asks Saki if she knows the people they just encountered, to which Saki responds that she has just met them, and they said they were her classmates at the same university. Saki, walking with Yuto, suggests that they should ignore the group of people behind them and continue their way, while Yuto expresses his disapproval about how some students behave, leeching off their parents, yet still acting entitled. A boy, likely one of the classmates, smugly comments that the guy they are talking about probably doesn't even have enough money to buy water, making fun of his apparent financial state. A girl, in a condescending tone, tells Shinji to stop, warning him that engaging with the poor guy might cause the smell of poverty to rub off on him, and she claims she doesn't want to attract that kind of attention. As Yuto and Saki are walking, a system message appears, informing them that a task has been issued for Yuto to spend 1 yen within 2 hours, with a bonus of physical enhancement. Yuto, in a moment of perfect timing, flicks a ring with his finger, showing a confident expression as the ring spins in midair, possibly signaling something important happening or a new development. A boy, looking slightly annoyed, tells a girl to stop wasting time with the poor people, and suggests they should leave as the girl smiles and agrees with him. The girl, seemingly parched, complains that her throat is dry, and her facial expression shows she is eager for a drink. The boy, now blushing slightly, smiles and offers to get the girl anything she wants to drink, showing he is willing to please her. The boy, walking with the girl, seems to get startled by the sudden chaos as people are rushing past them, causing him to react with surprise while still holding the girl's hand. The boy, looking flustered, asks the girl where she is looking while walking, as he seems to be in the middle of an unexpected situation. Two girls are excitedly gossiping, with one asking the other if it's true that everything at Stara is free that day, both eager to check it out. The boy, appearing surprised, asks the girls if it's true that everything is free at Stara, with a look of disbelief on his face as he processes the information. A woman in a green uniform confirms that everything at Stara is indeed free, much to the excitement of the boys and girls around her, who react with excitement and wonder. A woman in a green uniform informs Yuto that today's bill will be covered by him, while Yuto, holding a drink, stands calmly beside her. Yuto, holding his drink, encourages everyone around to enjoy as much as they want, mentioning that it's a hot day and people should feel free to drink without hesitation, as the crowd expresses their thanks. Yuto, asking Saki how the drink tastes, wonders if she finds it tasty, while she playfully responds that it might be a bit bitter, holding her drink in her hand. A man, looking displeased, confronts Yuto, questioning what he's trying to do as he holds a drink in his hand, seemingly concerned about something going on. Yuto responds with a condescending remark, telling the man not to worry, and if he thanks him, he'll buy him a drink too, mocking him and making a snide comment about poor people acting as if they are important. The man, with a frustrated expression, angrily tells Yuto that he would never drink such cheap coffee, calling it something even dogs wouldn't drink overseas, showing his disdain for the drink. The man, now embarrassed, looks around as he notices a crowd of people staring at him, all holding drinks, making him realize the situation he's in. With a confident yet somewhat sarcastic expression, the man points at Yuto, accusing him of worrying about his own share while mentioning that he doesn't need drinks for poor people who have never been abroad. A man, with a group of others, angrily confronts a boy, accusing him of criticizing a favor done for him without even paying, while a woman next to the boy looks distressed. A group of men kicks the boy, showing intense violence as they cheer on the assault, while the boy struggles on the ground. The boy, lying on the ground, pleads with Shuta for help, raising his hand in desperation as he is being kicked. A man looks at another, questioning him with suspicion, while the other man and woman nervously deny any association with him. Yuto stands confidently, warning a boy not to think he can win over his sister with just a small amount of money, as the boy looks up at him with a troubled expression. Yuto and Saki walk away together, with Saki admiring Yuto's actions and calling him cool, though she questions whether it was truly okay to spend all that money. A sign at a taxi stand shows the names T103 and T104 as taxi numbers are displayed on a digital screen. As Yuto and Saki walk away, a system message appears announcing the completion of the mission and the distribution of the bonus, while Yuto reflects on how the sales at Stara didn't even amount to a single yen. Yuto, holding a small glowing object, reflects on the mission he completed with an investment from branch manager Fujiwara. And the message on the screen announces that his stamina has been increased to 3 times that of an ordinary person. Yuto and Saki stand outside, looking around for the taxi they called, with Saki asking, "Where's the taxi we called?" While Yuto responds, what's the number?" Saki exclaims excitedly, "Wow, that car looks cool!" as she points at a stylish red car that catches her attention. A woman with sharp features, seated in the driver's seat of the car, looks at Yuto and asks, "Hey, Matsushima, what are you doing here?" Yuto casually explains to the woman in the car, "Manager Yanagi, I came to pick up my sister. I'm planning to take her to the university dorm now." As she asks him, "Do you know Yuto?" The woman in the car reminds Yuto of his important project presentation that afternoon, saying, "Wait, did you forget that you have an important project presentation this afternoon?" To which Yuto responds with, "Oh, right." As Yuto and Saki talk, Yuto reflects internally on how he no longer struggles with money, but still feels a sense of responsibility for a project he's been preparing for months, while Saki encourages him, saying, "Don't worry about me, you should go to work, Yuto." Saki, jokingly, teases Yuto with a playful smile, Besides, if you don't take the chance to work with such a beautiful woman, you'd be wasting it. To which Yuto responds, "What are you saying? I'm not like that with Manager Yanagi." Manager Yanagi, sitting in the car, looks surprised as she notices Yuto approaching and asks, "Did you say something?" While Yuto casually waves and asks if he can get in the car. In a cute chibi-style image, Yuto, with a playful expression, reflects on his struggles with money and his desire for a job, even if the salary is low, showing a moment of vulnerability. As Yuto and Manager Yanagi drive, they pass by two parked cars, and the conversation continues, with Yanagi suggesting Yuto go over the presentation materials again while he can. Yuto, in the car with Manager Yanagi, looks relaxed, but is aware of his responsibilities, acknowledging the bonus if the project passes, and understanding the importance of his work, despite the tricks he feels he's being lured into by Yanagi. While driving, Yuto's hand rests on the seat as Manager Yanagi jokingly scolds him for talking back, while still focusing on the road ahead. With a sudden burst of pride, Manager Yanagi exclaims that Yuto should be honored to be lured by her tricks, playfully challenging his reaction. The scene shifts to a towering office building marked with the name Cyberland, possibly indicating a significant business location, tying back to the professional world of Yuto and Yanagi. A man, identified as Ogata Kusuke, Manager Kawai's brother-in-law, is seen confidently ordering to throw everything away while managing his workspace, showcasing his relaxed yet authoritative demeanor. Yuto confronts a man in a white shirt, asking why he's been replaced in the development department, with the man replying that his brother-in-law, Manager Kawai, has told him he's taking Yuto's place starting that day. Yuto demands the man in the white shirt return what is rightfully his, but the man responds with indifference, asking why he should give it back. The man in the white shirt smirks at Yuto, taunting him to settle the situation with a fight, while Yuto prepares for the confrontation. Yuto and the man in the white shirt engage in a tense hand grip, with Yuto's strength showing through as the man grimaces. The struggle intensifies as Yuto's grip on the man's hand tightens, causing him to cry out in pain, as Yuto watches him suffer without backing down. The man in the white shirt wonders when Yuto became so strong, pleading for him to let go of his hand while Yuto maintains his grip, the situation escalating. Manager Kawai angrily pointed at Yuto and said that with his ability, I decided to give this presentation to Ogata. Yuto is still agitated, angrily questioning Manager Kawai for taking away the plan he worked so hard on. Manager Kawai coldly replies that if there are any problems, Yuto is free to leave. Manager Yanagi slams her hand down in defiance, stating she won't allow the man to take Yuto's project, making her allegiance clear. Manager Yanagi firmly asserts that the plan being discussed was developed entirely by Yuto, showing no room for replacement of his work. Kawai, an executive, asserts that he has the authority to give orders to the subordinates of Matsushima, and challenges his responsibility if the presentation fails, while Yanagi intervenes, telling Kawai it's not his concern. Kawai insists with a pointed finger that Yanagi will soon see the results of his actions, full of confidence and tension in the air. Matsushima, with Yanagi, tells Kawai not to worry about the conflict and to focus on preparing for the presentation instead, signaling a shift in focus. Matsushima reflects on Yanagi's strictness toward work, but also acknowledges that Yanagi takes good care of the team, showing a more human side to her leadership style. The door sign clearly reads "Conference Room," marking the setting for the upcoming presentation. Yanagi concludes the presentation, confidently stating that it has ended, while looking satisfied with her delivery. Ota Akira, the vice president of Huge Tech, praises the presentation, expressing that it exceeded their expectations and giving a thumbs up to the team. Yanagi congratulates Matsushima with a cheerful "You did it" after the successful presentation. Manager Yanagi, standing very close to Yuto, seems to be unintentionally making him uncomfortable, with Yuto saying, "Manager, you're too close." A man in a gray suit, who appears to be a company executive, informs everyone that once the company president arrives, they will discuss the debt settlement. Manager Yanagi looks shocked and asks, "Debt settlement? What kind of debt are you talking about?" in response to the executive's statement. The man in the suit continues, accusing Yanagi of being responsible for a large debt on the company's books, implying that they might not even be able to pay salaries. Yanagi, upset, responds that she has no knowledge of such a debt, as she claims there is nothing like that in the company's books, while also stating that she wishes to entrust the company to Yanagi because of his abilities. With a smug expression, the man in the suit taunts Yanagi, saying, "You were completely deceived by those retired old men. The books you were looking at were fake." Manager Yanagi, growing more upset, exclaims, "Fake books? Could it be that they intended to trap me from the beginning?" Yanagi, now furious and surrounded by a fiery backdrop, declares, "This company is something I've built with my blood, sweat, and tears, and you guys," showing her anger and frustration. A man with glasses, who is the vice president of a company, addresses a colleague, mentioning that once the company president arrives, they will discuss the debt settlement. Manager Yanagi reacts in disbelief, questioning the type of debt being discussed, as she exclaims, "Debt settlement? What kind of debt are you talking about?" A man with a smirk suggests that Manager Yanagi cannot come up with the 90 yen for the contract, and his colleague mentions the arrival of President Kinoshita from Hugetech. President Kinoshita of Hugetech enters the room, greeted by a man who refers to him with respect, saying, "Ah, President Kinoshita, we've been waiting for you." Branch manager Fujiwara and another man discuss a recent 100,000 yen deposit and express interest in meeting the person behind it, referring to them as a VIP client. Branch manager Fujiwara, surprised, questions why Yuto is at the bank, saying, "Wait, Matsushima-sama, what are you doing here?" Branch manager Fujiwara and another man recognize Yuto and comment that he is the person responsible for the recent deposit, as one man says, "That's right, this is the one." President Kinoshita, with respect and excitement, introduces himself to Yuto, saying, "Matsushima-sama, you say?" "I'm Kinoshita, president of Hugetech. It's such an honor to meet you here." A man, confused, is questioning President Kinoshita, wondering if he's mistaken Matsushima for someone else, emphasizing that Matsushima is just a janitor at their company. In an angry outburst, another man, presumably the branch manager, is yelling, informing the group that Matsushima is the one who deposited 100,000 yen, revealing him to be a wealthy individual. The man who earlier expressed confusion is now speaking to Kinoshita, explaining that the purchase of Matsushima's company for 90 yen is out of the question due to the lack of his name on the board of directors, but suggests handling the company's debt. Matsushima, standing confidently, asks a question about his position, wondering what the others mean by his involvement, showing no signs of being a mere janitor. Matsushima begins to speak, asserting that there's one thing he must address, revealing that certain people were involved in creating fake books and trying to illegally sell the company. As the conversation intensifies, Matsushima commands that a thorough investigation be carried out, confidently instructing branch manager Fujiwara to act, showing his clear authority. Fujiwara branch manager orders an investigation based on Yuto's words. Kawai manager panics, can't believe it, sweats, and says it's a lie. Kawai is arrested for embezzlement and also for creating fake books, as seen in the newspaper article where he is escorted by 2 police officers. A bottle of wine is being poured into a glass with the sound "tock tock tock," as the boy expresses gratitude, saying, "Thank you so much for everything today." At a dinner table, manager Yanagi thanks Yuto for saving her company, and they both toast to celebrate, with Yuto replying, No, well then, cheers." Yuto tells Yanagi that he plans for her to lead the company from now on, but asks her to be more careful in the future not to get deceived so easily. Yanagi, slightly tipsy, sips her wine and mentions that she always falls for things quickly. Yanagi asks for another toast while standing up with a glass of wine in hand, surprising Yuto, who seems confused. The sound of Yanagi's high heels clicking on the floor is heard as she stumbles slightly, saying, "Ah!" Yanagi seems to have sprained her ankle as she is helped by Yuto, who asks, "Are you all right?" She responds, "It looks like I sprained my ankle. Can you take me to the upstairs room?" Yanagi, looking concerned, tells Yuto that he must promise not to do anything strange, as she gazes at him with a flirtatious expression while sitting next to him. Yuto, standing up confidently, declares he understands as he lifts Yanagi, cradling her in his arms as he prepares to carry her upstairs. Yuto, holding Yanagi in his arms, tells her that he'll be heading back now, while Yanagi, seated on a table, looks up at him, clearly thinking about the change in her position as the new president of the company. Yuto confidently walks away as Yanagi, sitting on the table, looks up, seemingly both surprised and happy about their new arrangement. Yuto and Yanagi's moment grows more intimate as Yanagi shifts her position, showing a closer connection while sitting on the table, with Yuto's hand placed reassuringly on her leg. Their closeness intensifies when Yanagi kisses Yuto, and the background softens, highlighting the passion between them. Yanagi, slightly blushing and looking at Yuto, asks him if he now feels like the one who was tricked this time, emphasizing the shift in their dynamic. The scene cuts to an intimate moment where Yanagi and Yuto are now lying down together, sharing a nadi. Yuto, sitting on the bed with a towel on his head, expresses his frustration to Yanagi, who is lying in bed, saying he can't believe he fell for the situation in the end. Yanagi teases Yuto about his bean sprout body and his inability to keep up, while Yuto, sweating, responds that it's probably because of her lack of stamina. Yuto, with a playful grin, asks if it wasn't Yanagi who had provoked him in the first place, as she tries to relax in bed. Yanagi, now casually lying back on the bed, mocks Yuto by asking if that's how young people are nowadays, after what just happened. Yanagi, appearing more seductively playful, licks her finger in a flirty manner, teasing Yuto further with her expression. Yuto and Yanagi's intimate moment is portrayed as they engage in a passionate scene, focusing on their close contact, with playful elements between them. Yanagi, reaching a breaking point, demands a pause from Yuto, saying she can't continue any longer. A system message appears, assigning Yuto a new mission to spend 50 pennies by the end of the day, leaving him confused as he ponders the randomness of the task. Yuto, wearing a jacket with BAMXI written on it, suggests to Yanagi that they should invest more in the company as he gestures toward her. Yanagi, visibly uninterested, responds to Yuto's suggestion with a simple "no thanks," while stretching and showing a relaxed expression. Yanagi expresses her thoughts about the Kawaii incident, saying that while they may face some damage, she is confident that they can recover and elevate the company's performance. Yanagi, with a playful smile, implies that their kiss could be a way to repay their major shareholders for their support. Yanagi, blushing and looking a bit overwhelmed, reacts with "ah" after the kiss, showing a mix of emotions. Yanagi, with frustration, says, "Ugh, I'm falling apart. This is all Matsushima's fault," while looking down at her body. Yuto suggests to Yanagi that she should take the day off, to which Yanagi responds, "I can't. We have a meeting today." Yanagi, determined, stands up and says, "I'm going to rise up using my own strength," as she walks away, leaving Yuto kneeling in the background. Yuto, dressed in his casual outfit with a Bamsi jacket, casually yawns and announces he's going to take another nap, seemingly without concern. He then takes a phone call, his expression shifting to one of concern, as he hears that Yamaguchi's aunt is hospitalized, asking for more details. The scene shifts to show the exterior of a hospital, labeled as Musashi First Hospital. Inside the hospital, Yuto and another man, who seems to be Yuto's friend or a colleague, are sitting beside a woman lying in a hospital bed, with Yuto looking concerned as they support her. The woman in the bed expresses that she has never been sick before, with a look of discomfort and concern as she speaks about her current situation. Yuto, with a warm smile, reassures the woman that her illness is just the result of accumulated fatigue, handing her an apple to help cheer her up. In the next scene, Yuto is conversing with his friend, Yamaguchi Wataru, reminiscing about their past as students, recalling how often he had meals at the Yamaguchi house, and how he never held back when eating. The scene continues, with Yuto offering the woman an apple again, as he continues to share with his friend that he was hoping to borrow money for hospitalization fees, adding a sense of financial strain to the situation. The man is looking at a photo on his phone, showing an image of Yuto's younger sister, who appears to be in police custody, as he wonders if he can borrow money from Yuto, considering his company's financial troubles. A nurse, accompanied by two muscular men, is pointing the way to room 42 as she addresses someone, likely guiding them through the hospital. The same nurse tells a woman in a hospital bed named Ms. Yamaguchi that she needs to move to a different room immediately, with a sense of urgency in her voice. A man in a white lab coat runs towards the scene, asking what is going on as he sees two muscular men escorting Ms. Yamaguchi out of her room. The man in the white coat, seemingly worried, tells them that he promised to settle the hospital fees in a few days, expressing his frustration over being asked to leave immediately. The nurse, holding a clipboard with a surprised look, explains that they've already received 1 yen from a gentleman, and the woman will be moved to the VIP room due to the payment. The nurse, still holding the clipboard, explains that the payment of 1 yen was received just moments ago, and Ms. Yamaguchi will be transferred to the VIP room now. Ms. Yamaguchi is being lifted by two strong men in lab coats as they ask her if she's satisfied with the arrangement, preparing to escort her to her new room. The woman in the striped pajamas expresses her excitement, saying how amazing everything is and asking if she can get even closer, her eyes filled with love-struck hearts as she touches a man's chest. The man in the white coat, holding the woman in her striped pajamas, enthusiastically encourages her to hold on tight as they leap together, with the other man beside him also jumping, both clearly enjoying the moment. A door sign reads "Special Hospital Room," indicating a transition to a more exclusive hospital space. The woman in the striped pajamas lays in the hospital bed, as the two muscular men stand proudly beside her, offering their services and reassuring her that they're on standby 24/7. The man with glasses, surprised by the situation, asks the other two men in white coats what's going on, seemingly confused by the sudden shift in the woman's condition or room. The man with glasses, now distressed, says that he had promised to arrange the hospitalization fees within a few days, but now is being forced out, his frustration evident. Yuto seems to be squeezing his friend's chest as the man winces, explaining that this is the penalty for keeping quiet about the hospitalization fees, maintaining a teasing tone as he asserts their friendship. The man with glasses, clearly embarrassed and apologetic, takes off his glasses and offers a guilty apology, caught in the awkward situation created by Yuto's playful antics. Yuto kindly reassures his friend that if he ever runs out of money, he can always come to him, stressing that his aunt's treatment should always be the top priority, which deeply moves his friend, as he expresses immense gratitude with a heartfelt "thank you." A notification pops up on the screen announcing that a mission has been completed, with a bonus titled "My Eyes Are a Ruler" acquired, which leaves Yuto confused as he wonders what the bonus actually means. Yuto stares at the notification, perplexed, as he questions its meaning with a puzzled expression. A glass is being filled with water, accompanied by the words "next to the special hospital room," followed by a question from a person asking about someone's health, possibly a relative, referring to the health of the individual in the hospital room. A woman named Mika, a Keisei University student, is seen holding a glass of water as she asks if she should call for her younger brother. A man in a hospital room responds reassuringly, stating that he is fine, attributing his tiredness to the long flight, and then he explains that he called Mika to discuss entrusting her with managing the company's affairs. He hands her some material related to an ongoing project, emphasizing the importance of securing a contract that could significantly improve the company's future. Mika, now holding a folder with the project material. He expresses that the project aligns well with her major, and confidently believes she is the right person to handle it. Mika tells her father that she will carefully consider the work while he just needs to focus on resting, and she asks him not to tell her younger brother, Shinji, about this yet. Mika, in a hurry, is heading up the stairs, hoping to make it to class on time, holding her bag. A woman, walking with two men, comments on Mika, calling her a special girl with all the assets. The same woman is seen again, holding a cane, looking up at Mika with a surprised and determined expression. The woman loses her balance and falls, grabbing Mika's leg, while Mika reacts with surprise. Mika, not pleased, looks down at the woman holding her leg and tells her to watch where she's walking. Yamada Mika appears shocked and confused as two men accuse her of bumping into one of them, with one of them exclaiming that he saw it happen and calling her out for pretending it didn't. The man, who is now getting more aggressive, continues to confront Mika, asking which university she attends, claiming he will contact her school for the incident. Yuto steps in just in time, catching Mika as she loses her balance, and yells, "Careful!" while holding her in his arms, signaling his protective nature. With his attention on Mika, Yuto notices something strange as a system notification appears, marking the activation of "My Eyes Are a Ruler," with a measurement result, leading to Mika asking if she's okay, to which Yuto reassures her. Yuto, now visibly worried and flustered, looks at the result of the system notification, baffled by what F36 means, and trying to confirm whether it is an error, while Mika stands confused about it. A woman calls out for help, claiming that she has been bumped into and hurt, as she is assisted by Yuto, who stands nearby. Mika, looking worried, reflects on her actions, admitting that she was walking quickly and might have accidentally bumped into someone. Yuto, with a skeptical expression, warns the woman that if she admits to the incident, she might fall into their trap. Yuto, now thinking, wonders aloud if focusing on a specific point would activate a particular skill he possesses. The woman is approached by another person, revealing that when her body and his were nearly touching, she fell forward, implying it might have been planned. The scene reveals people with cameras strategically positioned around the area, capturing the scene from various angles, including one near the second and fourth floors. Yuto observes the situation, noting that it's a perfect shot from both straight and overhead angles, suggesting they are all part of a planned setup. Yuto casually remarks to the woman that he's just saying this without much concern, showing a playful expression as he offers his observation. Yuto asks Mika, "But honestly, these are the kind of people who specialize in actions like this. Have you recently made anyone angry?" Mika, looking surprised, responds with, as she is caught off guard by the question. Mika, trying to defend herself, says, "Sorry, ma'am, but I didn't bump into you," as she faces an accusing woman. The woman, seemingly upset, points at Mika, yelling, "What a cowardly child! There are security cameras in the hospital. Do you think you can just make excuses?" Mika calmly replies, "I agree with checking the security cameras, but regular cameras won't show detailed footage in milliseconds, right?" while trying to make her case. The woman responds with growing frustration, stating, "But nowadays, there's software that can analyze footage in slow motion down to 1,000th of a second, in an attempt to challenge Mika's argument. Mika confidently says, "That software is pretty expensive. If it was my fault, I'll cover all costs, including your losses. But if it turns out I'm not at fault, then you'll cover the software cost and compensation, right?" Showing her preparedness for the situation. The woman, feeling defeated, turns to walk away and says, "Tch, let's retreat," as her anger takes over. Mika, standing tall and composed, reflects with a slight smile. As expected, maintaining her confidence despite the confrontation. Yuto, addressing Mika, asks with curiosity if there is really such advanced software capable of analyzing footage in fine detail, to which Mika responds by playfully admitting that her claim was a lie, though it probably sounded convincing. In a more playful moment, a chibi-style illustration depicts Yuto and Mika, both smiling at each other, with Yuto flashing a charming grin and Mika covering her mouth with her hand, clearly enjoying the interaction. Mika introduces herself as Yamada Mika, expressing gratitude for Yuto's help earlier. Her gesture of thanks, accompanied by a warm smile as she mentions her name for the first time. Yuto introduces himself as Yuto Matsushima, suggesting that although he is in a hurry, Mika should visit him at the university if she has the time, extending the invitation with a friendly gesture. While Yuto watches Mika walk away, he contemplates in his mind, wondering if she truly isn't suspicious of him, as she seems to be so casual about everything. With a lighthearted expression, Yuto admits to himself that it seems he has no real connection with the kind of people Mika implied, brushing off any suspicions as he continues on his way. Realizing the time, Yuto is surprised to see it's already 6 o'clock. The clock showing the late hour in a moment of realization about how quickly time had passed. The final image shows Yuto's rental apartment as the backdrop for the story, under the stars of the night sky, highlighting the setting where Yuto likely heads after a busy day. Yuto, with his excitement for the stream, lays on the couch, expressing his eagerness to watch it as things seem to be getting exciting. A live stream is underway, where popular dancer Yukachi is battling game streamer Marinyan in a PK match. And Yukachi's popularity surpasses Marinyan's significantly. Yukachi greets her fans with enthusiasm, sending out love and thanks, while the live stream is filled with comments praising her visuals and strong face today. Marinyan, dressed in a cute outfit, excitedly cheers for votes in the live stream, claiming only cute things should dominate the chat, and encouraging fans to vote for her. Yukachi declares that she has won in the PK match, and now the viewers are tasked with deciding her punishment for the outcome of the competition. Yukachi, with a playful suggestion in the live chat, proposes that Marinyan should play the game using her feet, adding humor and engaging the audience. Yuto, feeling amused, activates his special ability, My Eyes Are Like a Ruler, intending to analyze the game with an enhanced perception. Yuto comments critically on Yukachi's appearance, noting that her legs are too long and how the proportions of the scene are distorted, likely analyzing her posture in the stream for precision. The girl, Yukachi, reacts to the criticism about her proportions, insisting she has had this body type since the stream began, and asks if the person is new, requesting the blocking of anti-comments. A man, Yuto, looks concerned as he notices on his phone that his account has been blocked, probably due to his earlier comments. Yukachi addresses her viewers, claiming that the negative comments are harassment from Marinyan's fans, reassuring everyone that she has blocked all the anti-comments. Yuto, watching the stream, is surprised and remarks that even voicing an opinion seems to get people banned from the stream. Yuto decides to check out Marinyan's stream and clicks to see her profile, commenting, "Let's check that one then." Marinyan, dressed in a bear hoodie, nervously urges her viewers to help her as her PK time nears its end, asking for support. The viewers, including usernames like Young Noble, continue commenting and cheering, suggesting that Yukachi has no chance against Marinyan due to her looks. Yukachi and Marinyan both react in shock as they see the comments coming from the viewers, realizing how intense the competition is. The scene concludes with a comic-style panel showing a giant fairy and some bold text praising Yuto's actions, implying his impressive role in the unfolding drama. The man watches the PK battle between Yukachi and Marinyan on his phone and comments on the significant comeback in the competition. Marinyan, wearing a bear hoodie, thanks Yuto-san for his support with a joyful expression. Yukachi, looking troubled, wonders if the person helping Marinyan is the same as the one from earlier, hinting at Yuto. Yukachi, in a black outfit, asks her viewers to push harder to support her during the final moments of the competition. Yuto, confidently calling out to the audience, repeats his powerful comment about the giant fairy X10 as he dominates the stream. Yukachi and Marinyan react to the outcome of the battle, with Yukachi ready for a penalty game and Marinyan looking confused by the situation. Yuto uses his comment rights for all channels, smugly declaring that blocking won't stop his influence on the stream. The man smirks while holding his phone, mocking Yukachi for messing up, and urges Yuto-san to repeat his comment to teach her a lesson. Yukachi, shown in a somewhat submissive pose with her hands raised in apology, expresses her regret while agreeing to quietly accept the penalty game. The man, who is now revealed as Yuto, looks at his phone with a confused expression while a crown appears above his head. Marinyan thanks Yuto again for his earlier actions and explains that despite his generous tip, she doesn't have anything to offer him in return, but assures him that she can process a refund if needed. Yuto appears slightly confused, pondering the possibility that he might be considered suspicious due to his large tip. Looking uncertain while holding his phone, Yuto dismisses the matter with a relaxed attitude, stating that it's not that much money as he continues typing on his phone. Marinyan, on her phone, asks Yuto if he lives in the Musashi district, offering to treat him to a meal as a token of gratitude and leaving the location to him. Yuto questions if his large spending caused him to be targeted, and mulls over the idea that streamers might resort to any means to get more fans, while considering the situation further. In response, Marinyan reassures Yuto by saying free meals are not a crime, as they continue their conversation about meeting up in the Musashi district. The scene shows Marinyan's house at night. A detailed look at a well-organized closet with an array of stylish bags on shelves. A woman with long hair sits gracefully, holding a glass of wine, expressing frustration about her daughter, Marinyan, who leaves her to talk to the wall all day despite her presence. Marinyan, wearing a skirt and a top, enters the room cheerfully and explains to her mother that streaming is a job and that she came out to chat after finishing her stream. The woman, still frustrated, tells Marinyan that she doesn't need to work and that she gives her pocket money every month, suggesting that she should enjoy her life without working. Marinyan, excited, explains that her necklace is a brand name and it costs 43 yen, emphasizing how extravagant it is compared to what she could afford from streaming money. Marinyan, with a playful smile, reassures her mother that she isn't streaming for the money, but because it's fun, showing her carefree attitude towards her career. Marinyan shares with someone through her phone that she met someone interesting today, hinting at a new connection or development. A woman in a green dress with a wine glass in hand tells her daughter, Mari, that an arranged marriage is being set up with the son of the Nanyo trading company, urging her to avoid any strange relationships. Mari, wearing a light blue outfit, responds to her mother's concern about marriage, saying she's not even thinking about it yet, but her mother insists that if Mari has complaints, she should talk to her father. The man, Yuto, is seen walking down the street, thinking he's hungry and suggesting to someone to get a drink at an izakaya. Yuto, with an excited expression, continues to suggest having grilled chicken and beer at the izakaya. Outside an izakaya, a man is pleading with someone to hold off on rent payment for a little while longer. The man at the izakaya is explaining to a woman who's wearing a red dress with rollers in her hair that sales have been down recently, but he will make sure to pay the rent. The woman, seemingly in charge, sternly replies to the man, saying that she is not running a charity and demands that he pay the rent or leave. The man desperately asks if the kitchen equipment should be seized due to his inability to pay the rent, but the woman firmly rejects the idea. The woman in rollers yells at the men, telling them to take whatever they can from the restaurant, revealing her desperation to get rid of things. The man in the apron desperately explains that the grill, which was a special order, cost tens of yen, and that the overdue rent is just 150 sen, trying to justify his situation. A man in a blue shirt shoves the apron-wearing man aside while taunting him about the value of the items he's trying to save, indicating their harsh treatment of him. The man in the blue shirt struggles to walk after being pushed by another man and realizes he cannot move at all, leading to confusion about what's happening. The man in the blue shirt is caught by the hand of another man, Yuto, who has suddenly stopped his movement, signaling his mysterious ability to control him. Yuto, in his casual jacket, questions the identity of the person in the blue shirt and asks how much he needs to pay to settle the matter with the shop's owner. The woman in rollers looks at Yuto with suspicion, questioning who he is as he seems to have appeared out of nowhere and is taking control of the situation. The woman in the pink dress shouts, demanding that someone else pay instead of her, refusing to cover the cost herself. The woman in the pink dress expresses frustration about offering a low rent price out of kindness and is upset about the overdue payment. The woman in the pink dress continues her argument with a man, claiming that the area is undergoing development, which justifies the rent increase. The woman in the pink dress angrily states that the 3 nearby shops belong to her and boasts about an offer from a large chain store to rent the spaces for 2 yen each. Yuto, holding a device, prepares to take action and steps forward, implying a plan to resolve the situation. Yuto, on the phone, asks if the paperwork is complete. Yuto speaks sternly, stating that he doesn't need to negotiate with the woman, and asserts that the place is already his. The woman in the pink dress responds sharply to Yuto, demanding to know who he is and why he is intervening. The woman with the pink hair rollers angrily tells the man in front of her that she will never sell her building, regardless of the money offered, emphasizing that the property is in her name. The woman with pink hair rollers scolds a man and others nearby for spacing out, ordering them to hurry up and move their things out. Yuto, in a black jacket, steps in between the woman with pink rollers and the men as they argue, stopping them from proceeding further. Yuto then takes action, forcefully pushing the men away and knocking them down, which causes a scene as they collapse to the ground. The woman with the pink hair rollers, seeing Yuto's actions, shouts in distress, threatening to call the police on him for his actions. Yuto confidently speaks, stating that he just confirmed the terms of the commercial property agreement, and implies that the woman only has the right to use the property, not to sell or control it. The scene shifts to a construction vehicle arriving, showing the workers preparing to demolish the building or take action as part of the redevelopment process. Yuto stands tall, addressing the men while confidently claiming that he just bought the entire downtown area, asserting his ownership. A man in a yellow vest, along with other workers in the background, salutes and asks, "Where should we start?" A woman in a pink dress, startled by an excavator, exclaims, "Ah, what are you planning to do?" Yuto casually says, "If I feel like it, I could flatten this whole area in no time." Then maybe I'll leave it like that for a few months. After that, I don't think anyone would want to rent it. The woman in the pink dress, trembling, responds, "A few hundred yen. To me, that's like pocket change. I've really pissed off someone dangerous, haven't I?" The woman in the pink dress kneels, pleading with, "Please, forgive me." Yuto, standing confidently, says, "Then you know what needs to be done, right?" The woman, tearfully begging, says, "From today, the rent here is halved. Water and electricity bills will be on us. How does that sound?" Yuto, with a confident smirk, responds, "Well, fine then." Yuto appears, looking serious, as he observes the digital screen in front of him, displaying a complex mission, stating that he needs to gather black corporations for a task, and that the mission is classified. The skewers on the grill are sizzling as the flames dance, showcasing a delicious assortment of skewered food being cooked. A man in an apron, clearly pleased with the service, thanks Matsushima for the evening and invites him to enjoy the meal, as the place is entirely reserved for him. Matsushima, smiling and holding a drink, compliments the restaurant's quality while expressing his intention to return for more meals, which is acknowledged by the man serving him. The man serving Matsushima proudly boasts about the restaurant's special sauce, which has been a secret recipe passed down for generations. And now that the rent issue is resolved, he is determined to work even harder on his business. The woman, dressed in business attire, seems surprised by the contrast between Matsushima's wealth and his choice of food, teasing him for eating yakitori despite his millionaire status. Yanagi, while enjoying the yakitori, comments that it is indeed delicious, revealing her taste for the simple things in life despite her wealth. Matsushima, smirking to himself, wonders what Yanagi might think if she knew that the yakitori was worth billions, but quickly shifts focus, as his main mission is to protect the gullible people. Yanagi, slightly confused but amused, comments on the disparity between being invited by a millionaire and still eating yakitori, showing her playful side. Yanagi, while holding a skewer, teasingly offers to let Yuto smell it when they get home. Yuto explains his vision for starting a new company, asking for Yanagi's help in selecting a location and making preparations for the business. Yanagi enthusiastically agrees to help, clarifying that the type of business will affect where the office is located, showcasing her practicality. Yuto, confidently pouring a drink for himself, discusses his plans for the investment company, hinting that the office's location will be crucial for success. Yuto, thinking to himself, wonders if he can use Yanagi's involvement in his business plans to gain extra perks, perhaps even a bonus. Yuto and Yanagi toast to their future collaboration, with Yuto offering some friendly advice about not wasting money, as things will only get more expensive from here. Yanagi calls out for the chef to pack the skewers for takeaway, with the chef enthusiastically responding, adding a touch of humor to the scene. Yuto looks confused and a bit flustered while asking, "Why?" as he wipes his face with a towel, clearly unsettled by something unexpected. Yanagi, embracing Yuto while seemingly hurt, accuses him of cheating with other girls, revealing her frustration after working hard to manage the company. Yuto denies the accusation, explaining that he's not cheating, though Yanagi remains suspicious, accusing him of smelling like another woman's perfume. Yanagi, blushing and playfully holding Yuto close, proposes that she'll take care of him whenever he needs her, asking if that's all right with him. Yuto agrees, reassuring her as they walk together, heading to her place while enjoying the moment of closeness. A mysterious figure lurks in the shadows, seemingly observing Yuto and Yanagi as they walk past, hinting at the presence of someone following them. Yuto activates a skill with a serious expression, and a notification appears saying, "Skill activated. My eyes are like a ruler." With a cautious tone, Yuto instructs someone to keep their distance, sensing that someone is tailing them while walking through the darkened street. Yuto holds Mayumi's hand and calls her name while asking her to wait a moment. Yuto complains about his stomach hurting and wonders if he got food poisoning from the yakitori, while Mayumi looks concerned. Yuto tells Mayumi that he's going to pass for the night and suggests that she go home alone, which causes her to ask if he's trying to run away. Mayumi, upset, threatens Yuto that if he cancels again, she will make him pay double, to which Yuto responds by assuring her he'll come next time. Yuto assures Mayumi, while looking frustrated, that he understands and promises he will definitely come next time. Yuto, appearing serious, mentions that the situation has already been figured out and tells someone to come out. A man, wearing a black suit and fedora, appears, commenting on how Yuto is sharper than expected, accompanied by two other men in similar attire. The man with the fedora taunts Yuto, saying he has angered the wrong person, and warns him that he will regret it. Yuto, standing in front of two men with baseball bats, looks surprised and says, as they prepare to attack him. A man in a black suit swings a bat toward Yuto, who seems to be dodging the attack with a tense expression. Yuto, facing off with another man holding a bat, barely avoids the hit, as he looks determined while standing his ground. Yuto faces an intense struggle as he blocks another swing, his face showing effort while the man continues attacking. Yuto, impressed by the strength of his opponent, realizes that despite his enhanced physical abilities, he is evenly matched in this fight. Yuto takes a defensive stance as he calls out to the men, "It seems you've misunderstood something, but there's no need to resort to violence, right? Holding cash in his hand, Yuto tries to negotiate with the men, offering money as a solution to avoid further conflict, saying, "We should be able to talk things out. If money is the solution, I'll gladly pay. How about it?" The man in the black suit, smirking, throws the money away with disdain, saying, "Hey kid, you better realize who you've pissed off," as he reveals a knife, warning Yuto that yelling is useless as they are in a secluded area. The man in the black suit, holding a knife, warns Yuto, telling him to stay out of matters that don't concern him, as he aggressively charges toward him. Mayumi-san compliments Yuto's physique while playfully patting his shoulder, making a remark about his strength. The man in the black suit, who now seems to be enjoying the situation, comments that Yuto must be an actor after witnessing his performance, while he stands confidently with his knife. Mayumi-san, showing no hesitation, states that she will pay the fee in advance for what seems like a payment process while holding cash in her hand. Yuto, seemingly caught in a confusing situation, calls out Mayumi-san's name, clearly puzzled by the turn of events. Mayumi-san, playfully tossing money in the air, comments on Yuto's attempt to deceive her, saying it won't be so easy to trick her. The man in the black suit, in a taunting manner, expresses his intent to perform his best acting after observing Yuto's willingness to pay, making a comment about his spending power. He talks about making the most of the opportunity while pulling out money and acting for the benefit of Vice. The man in the black suit is upset, calling the older woman grandma, as he remarks she looks just like his grandmother, while another man in a black suit asks him to hurry up, clearly anxious to leave. The three men in black suits are running away, each one in a hurry, as their footsteps echo down the street with a sense of urgency. A woman in a purple jacket and her companions discuss the fact that the shoot is over, while she holds money, signaling that the filming process has concluded for the day. Yuto and Mayumi stand in the street, observing the men as they hurry off, with Yuto questioning who hired them and who is behind them. A shot of a bank with the letters XX Bank clearly visible. A woman in a formal suit and glasses steps out from the bank, yawning and holding a drink in her hand, indicating she is late, but still going about her business in a somewhat carefree manner. The same woman now looks startled, as a playful figure appears to have interrupted her, accusing her of slacking off as she sips her drink, revealing an odd, humorous situation in the workplace. Two male figures, dressed similarly in suits, chastise the woman, emphasizing the importance of maintaining discipline in her work, especially for a banker, and questioning how customers would feel about her behavior. The man in the suit, scolding someone, says the image of the bank's counter is crucial, asking if the person understands their role representing the bank, while the other man, clearly distressed, holds his head in frustration, commenting that today's youth have no sense of conviction. A woman, worried and holding a cloth, asks, "Who are these people?" clearly taken aback by the situation. A man in a gray suit is shown answering a call, telling someone that they are the ones causing a commotion near the bank's entrance. The man from the previous image introduces himself as branch manager Fujiwara, and introduces the woman to someone called Natsuki-kun, likely in a formal context. The man in a suit, who is possibly branch manager Fujiwara, continues to introduce key financial figures, including Vice President Yamada of the Development Bank, Manager Sato, and others, providing their titles. The woman, appearing anxious and out of place, is shown thinking about the presence of major financial figures gathered and questioning their intent. The man in the gray suit, speaking sternly, tells the gathered group that with their positions, they shouldn't be causing a commotion at the entrance of the bank, and he asks them to wait in the VIP room, stating he'll inform them as soon as Matsushima-sama arrives. Three men, appearing disgruntled, express their frustrations, commenting that Fujiwara branch manager is enjoying himself by not introducing them to Matsushima-sama, and asserting that they've been making big acquisitions and expect some movement today. A woman with glasses, dressed in formal attire, is surprised to learn that some important visitors are specifically there for Matsushima-sama. Two older men, one of whom is named Fujiwara, speak to the woman and acknowledge her as Natsuki, the assistant branch manager, emphasizing the importance of learning from this rare opportunity. Natsuki bows deeply and respectfully in front of two surprised men, who react with shock upon learning that someone so young holds the title of assistant branch manager. The two shocked men accuse Fujiwara of abusing his authority by giving Natsuki such a high position at her young age. Fujiwara defends himself against the accusations, insisting he hasn't abused his power, while the others continue to express disbelief over Natsuki's youthful appointment. Natsuki receives a phone call from Matsushima-sama and promptly responds with professional efficiency, assuring him that she will take care of a deposit of 597 yen. The two men watching her on the phone are astonished upon realizing that it truly is Matsushima-sama, known for making extremely rare and significant deposits. Fujiwara explains to them that Natsuki became assistant branch manager after successfully assisting Matsushima-sama for the first time, which makes her promotion completely justified. The previously skeptical men suddenly change their tone and praise Natsuki as an amazing role model for bankers, expressing admiration and even suggesting a get-together to connect more closely with her. A view of two tall buildings surrounded by greenery under a bright sky. Natsuki-kun, in her business suit, breathes heavily, appearing exhausted after a long day, showing signs of stress as she leans against the doorframe. Yuto, with a relaxed expression, holds a bottle of water and praises Natsuki-kun, asking if she would like some water. Natsuki-kun, holding a bottle of water, explains that she's doing this to protect Matsushima-sama's privacy, giving her a determined and responsible look. Natsuki-kun, in her business suit, drinks from her bottle while thinking about how she had to change buses multiple times to shake off her followers, illustrating her frustration. Yuto, deep in thought, comments that he never expected so many people would be following him, reflecting on the possible reasons, including a live stream from earlier. Yuto recalls a previous moment when he was attacked by a man with a knife, wondering if his actions, including spending money during a live stream, could have triggered the attack. Suddenly the phone rang. Yuto receives a message from someone named Marinyan, saying that they will be waiting at the Ristorante Mana at the Seaside Hotel at 6 p.m. Yuto, after reading the message, smiles and remarks that it's perfect, deciding he will try to find a clue from Marinyan. The camera focuses on the Ristorante Mana sign, marking the location where Yuto plans to meet Marinyan. A restaurant employee, wearing a bow tie and a formal uniform, greets Yuto and asks if he has a reservation. Yuto, thinking about the situation, recalls that he never asked Marinyan for her real name, realizing that a live stream name wouldn't be enough. The restaurant employee offers to show Yuto to an available seat, speaking politely as he gestures toward the seating area. The scene changes as the same employee, now more agitated, calls out, "Yoshi!" loudly, clearly upset about something. The employee, apologizing, promises to fix the mistake, pointing out that Mr. Ito from the VIP room had specifically mentioned liking lilies of the valley. The restaurant employee, with a stern expression, warns that if anyone upsets Mr. Ito, they will be fired, while pointing at the person approaching him. Yuto, looking slightly confused, watches as the employee reacts to a person dressed in shabby clothes, dismissing them as unlikely to be a customer. Yuto, while on the phone, answers with a "hello?" as he looks thoughtful, trying to figure out where the other person might be. Yuto answers the phone while talking to a restaurant employee, stating that he is in the hotel lobby, while the employee gestures for him to take the call outside. The restaurant employee, noticing Yuto's phone call, politely gestures that he should take the call outside, offering a helpful and professional attitude. The phone call continues, and Yuto confidently answers back with, "Okay," as he prepares for what comes next. A woman with light blonde hair and a playful smile approaches Yuto and asks, "You're Yuto-san, right?" revealing her identity as Ito Marika, also known as Marinyan. Marika, noticing Yuto's reaction, asks if the person with him is Mr. Ito, raising an eyebrow at Yuto's company. But Yuto responds casually with, "Yeah, but what's it to you?" The man in a suit apologizes profusely for his earlier rudeness, saying, "Sorry for the rudeness, I apologize," as he nervously adjusts his bow tie. Yuto, wearing casual clothes, calmly brushes off the judgment from the man, thinking to himself that people tend to judge others by appearance, but asking where their seat is. A girl, looking amused, teases Yuto about his comment on security, jokingly saying, "Yuto-san, you really like to joke around, don't you?" The camera zooms in on a beautiful arrangement of lilies of the valley on the table, with a note saying, "We've also prepared lilies of the valley, Mr. Ito's favorite." A server at the table asks Yuto and the girl if they'd like to order, offering the usual, while Yuto dismisses the formalities, requesting just "Yuto's fine, no need for the zan." The girl, smiling playfully, remarks, well, you're my benefactor, so," in a teasing tone, enjoying the banter with Yuto. The man in the suit smirks, commenting on Yuto's status and how he seems to be a poor guy, but Yuto just smiles with a hint of amusement. The man in the suit asks Mr. Ito if he'd like to have the usual wine, as the service continues smoothly. The woman asks Yuto what he will have, to which he replies that he's not used to wine and asks if they have any carbonated drinks. The waiter, explaining that they do not serve carbonated drinks, humorously praises Yuto as a rare customer, calling him a national treasure for preferring soda over wine. The waiter asks if they have carbonated drinks available, and Yuto responds, questioning whether they can provide it if that's what the customer desires. The waiter, irritated, mutters about Mr. Ito's companion acting high and mighty, revealing his frustration. The waiter, judging from the appearance of another customer, wonders about his looks and expresses disdain, questioning why the quality of customers seems poor today. A man, sitting nearby and apparently observing the situation, wonders how many beautiful women are around the area. He notices a girl who catches his attention, commenting to the woman beside him that the girl looks cute. The man continues to engage in conversation with the woman next to him, urging her to make another round of drinks, while she playfully responds to his request. The waiter, wearing a tuxedo and bow tie, presents a plate of North Sea king crab to Mr. Ito, stating, "Mr. Ito, here's the North Sea king crab," with a website link appearing at the bottom for chapter access. The girl with the two ponytails, dressed in a light blue skirt and white top, tells Yuto-san that she's heading to the restroom and suggests he eat first, to which Yuto responds, "Okay, go ahead." As Yuto looks at the king crab, a woman in a pink dress walks by and comments, "Wow, this is top-grade king crab, right?" admiring the dish on the table. The woman in the pink dress seems delighted by the thick crab legs and remarks, "It's so thick! It looks like it'll be satisfying to eat." The woman in pink, with a slightly flushed expression, leans over to ask Yuto if she can have a bite, saying, "Hey mister, can I have a bite too?" While Yuto, surprised, asks, "Who are you?" Yuto looks surprised when the woman asks him to pay for her, saying, "Yeah," in response, while she looks confident and somewhat cheeky, asking him to cover the bill. The woman, now appearing more concerned, mutters to herself, saying, "Even in a first-class hotel, there are people who come to mooch," as she looks disappointed. In the next scene, the woman is upset and shouts, "Hey! Don't look down on people so much!" at Yuto, clearly frustrated with his behavior. The woman, still visibly angry, tells Yuto, "Then why don't you hold onto it tightly and eat it yourself so no one takes it?" pointing at the crab, her voice full of sarcasm. Yuto appears to be unintentionally brushing against the woman's rear, as indicated by the sparkle around his hand. The woman confronts Yuto, asking, "Hey, did you just touch my butt?" in an outraged manner, as Yuto looks surprised and guilty. Yuto, trying to defend himself, claims, "Hey lady, I swear I didn't touch you," as he looks genuinely confused and a bit nervous. The woman, clearly upset, exclaims, "Unbelievable! You sexually harassed me, and now you're trying to deny it," in a shocked and angry tone. The woman angrily throws a drink at Yuto, yelling that he is the worst, causing the liquid to splash as it hits him. The next scene shows a man with a wig, dramatically reacting to water splashing on his head, exclaiming, "Ah! My wig!" while a woman looks on, surprised. In another part of the story, a girl scolds the woman for her behavior, telling her she's gone too far, and demands an apology for making false accusations. The woman defiantly retorts, questioning why she should apologize when it was the man who touched her first. Tension continues to rise as the woman accuses the man of touching her and demands an apology, but the girl refuses to back down and says the woman can manage her own man. A male servant informs the group that the security footage has been checked, showing that the woman made the first move in the incident. The woman reacts defensively, brushing off the situation and claiming that it was possible she fell and the man just reached out in the process. Finally, the woman, seemingly unconcerned, asks, "So, what about it?" asserting her innocence despite the evidence. The woman in the elegant dress firmly confronts the other, declaring she won't apologize, while the man steps in to command the situation, ready to report her suspected blackmail attempts. The woman with a necklace insists that the other woman should be banned, and a man in a bow tie immediately agrees to make arrangements if necessary. The woman in the white dress angrily wonders who the powerful woman is, showing distress and jealousy over her influence. The woman with the white dress is caught off guard as her picture is snapped by someone, and she's left bewildered at the situation. The woman in the white dress panics after realizing her photo has been taken, demanding an explanation from the one who took it. The woman with the necklace tells the other that she owes Yuto for helping her out, vowing to clear his name, with Yuto standing behind her observing her confidence. The woman in the white dress expresses disbelief at the thought of being banned from all restaurants, fearing how she'll make money from her manipulative schemes. Shouta, explaining that his drunk friend has misunderstood something, trying to defuse an awkward situation. Shouta tells the woman not to worry about being banned or reported because of the alcohol, and offers to pay for the meal, suggesting that their meeting might be fate. Shouta, seemingly trying to defuse the situation, asks the woman to apologize and leave, offering his support as they continue their conversation. The woman bows deeply and apologizes, while the other characters watch. Shouta remains calm, and the girl looks surprised or disapproving of the situation. The woman asks who Shuta is, expressing confusion, while Shuta introduces himself, mentioning he is from the Southern District and doesn't usually come around this area. The woman asks Yuto if he wants Shuta to pay for their meal, and he responds nonchalantly, saying he's fine with whatever happens, as he's only there for the free food anyway. The younger woman inquires with a mischievous smile, asking if Shuta is really going to pay for everything, and if they can order whatever they want. Shouta responds, giving them permission to order whatever they like, ensuring they can enjoy their meal freely. Shouta and Yuto sitting at the table, preparing for the meal as Shouta looks over at Yuto, who's drinking from a glass with empty plates set before them. As the red wine is poured into the glass, Shouta observes from a distance, analyzing the situation while thinking that the plan has been thrown off course, but can still be adjusted. Shouta continues to reflect on the situation while drinking from his glass, thinking about the choice between a rich guy who can treat her well and a man like him who has to spend his part-time wages to afford a place like this. Shouta, feeling confident, believes that he can win her over, stating that if she's bold, she'll be his by tonight, and even if she's shy, a few rounds of the game will do the trick. After finishing their meal, the woman suggests taking a walk around Baytown, and Yuto agrees while Shouta watches from the table. Shouta, noticing the woman is about to leave, calls out to her in a flustered manner, demanding that she says goodbye before she leaves. Shouta approaches the woman, asking if she's going for a walk around Baytown, as he was just about to go as well, and offers to join her. The woman responds, questioning why she should go with Shuta, as she seems uninterested in his suggestion. Shouta asks the girl if they can at least exchange contact information, but the girl refuses, saying, "No, thanks." The waiter approaches as Shouta and the girl prepare to leave, informing them that he has brought the bill. Shouta seems concerned about the large meal bill, as it costs a significant amount, and expresses disbelief, saying, "No way, a single meal costs 3 rin, 20 sen?" The girl, looking irritated, accuses Shuta of being a scumbag who uses women for extorting money and hitting on every girl he sees, looking back with disdain. The waiter asks Shuta if he can pay the meal after the girl mocks him, and Shuta looks frustrated while she taunts him further. Shouta, furious at the girl's mocking, exclaims that if she continues to taunt him, she'll be in for some pain. Shuta reaches to grab the girl's hand, but Yuto intervenes, stopping him and asserting that raising his hand against a woman is unacceptable.